Shalom, shalom to the hopeful elect of Israel. Let us give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rachaha, Kodash, and double honors to our elders and the apostles of the great millstone, okay, and the bishops and the elders. Double honors. Again, peace and salutations. The elders and the apostles of the great millstone, Salakia. I got to make sure that's known of GMS. And no one else is out here putting their life on the line, telling the truth, the 100% truth, besides our elders and apostles of GMS. Again, peace and salutations to the elect of Israel, especially you men putting your life on the line as well. This lesson I'm going to go into, I seen a clip of they're doing something within the army as far as these exercises, which they do military exercises. And during these military exercises, they're coming together. The false belief that they're doing it on their own is what's is what pretty much drew me to this lesson. I guess I'm just, matter of fact, before I go into the video I want to play, I want to pull this out. I want to pull out two precepts or two scriptures. All right. First, I want to go to Isaiah chapter 42. I'm going to jump down to verse 3. And it says, "The Lord shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. He shall cry, yea, roar. He shall prevail against his enemies." All right. It's another precept or scripture that tells us that the heart of the kings is in the hand of the Lord, the Most High. All right. So the Lord is getting these nations prepared in a sense, right? They've been like at camp last night. I believe the brother Damawathia was the one that brought up the fact that when it comes to UFOs, the chariots of the Lord, spaceships, right? When it comes to these vehicles of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, that America has a more highly concentrated number of those UFOs over it. All right, and then the brothers, the beautiful Akim, they went into the breakdowns of it, about, the Lord's going to enter into the thief or the house of the thief, beautiful breakdowns, man, but not to get off point, right? These heathen nations, they lack the understanding that the Lord has already written down what's about to happen. Right? He declared the end from the beginning. All right, I want to get this other precept, right? Because it says, again, Isaiah 42:13, "The Lord shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. He shall cry, yea, roar. He shall prevail against his enemies." And I want to link that up to First Thessalonians. Salakia. I knew that shit. Someone told me to get rid of that shit. First Thessalonians chapter 4. And jump down to verse 16, where it says, "The Lord," and that's in lowercase, right? You see that? It's not all capital letters, so that's not talking about Yahweh. That's talking about his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shah. Right? It says, "For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven." I mean, he's going to come down from them clouds, from outer space, in them UFOs, in them chariots, right? In those spaceships, right? "For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout," as we just read in Isaiah 42, right? He going to cry, "with the voice of the archangel and with the trumpet of the Most High, and the dead in Yahweh shall rise first. Now, what I'm about to show you, they're going to make it seem like they're just preparing for war. They're getting these exercises all together for this particular moment in case something happened or pop off. But when you have this understanding that Yahweh Shah has given, you know, his hopeful elect, you see beyond all that. You should see beyond all that. Check this out. Yeah, they said preparing for war with China.
Florida homeowners, did you know that right now you can get a brand new AC unit for your home at no cost to you?
Our friends in the UK.
Remaining vigilant and prepared for war. The largest bilateral military exercise ever conducted between the United States and Australia, Operation Talisman Sabor, is now underway down under. The goal of the 35,000 participants from 19 nations is to uphold a free and open Indo-Pacific. Some observers view the exercise as a response to the Chinese naval buildup and aggression in the South China Sea. Well, joining us to share some insights on the China military threat and allied preparedness to counter it is William Dunn, a retired Marine colonel, military analyst, and the president of Strategic Resilience.
Remember what we just read in Isaiah 42. The Lord shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. All right? And like we said, or like the scriptures say, the heart of the king is in the hand of Yahweh Shah Shah. He's stirring up this beautiful storm, man. This perfect storm. That's why it's in your best interest. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, West Indians, and Haitians, among you, and the speckled bird among you, of the 1/3, to return back to Yahweh Shah Shah. Now, don't hesitate. Don't wait. Prophecies are popping off. And it's only a matter of time before the Lord seals his elect. Adawan Ratazah, which means Lord willing. You with an S, us, shall be a part of that number. All right? The war is here. World War III is written in Revelations. World War I, II, and III. It's labeled woe. I'm not going to get it right now, but, you know, because I got a focused lesson. So, let's get it.
Group. Colonel Dunn, tell us about Operation Talisman Sabor. Would an exercise on this scale occur if China weren't a threat in the Indo-Pacific region?
Well, hey, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate you bringing me on today. And yeah, Talisman Sabor is a great exercise. It's the largest one, 35,000, 19 nations, as you mentioned. And really what this does, and I want everyone to kind of sort of back down a little. So, you know, we're not doing this to prepare just for war, right? We're doing this to prepare for deterrence, to prepare for peace, as well as to prepare for operating.
You see, I might have to rewind this, but you see what he's saying? From deterrence for peace, it's not just for war. And that's a lie, man. That's how Esau Edom is so cunning, you know. He's more subtle than any beast of the field of any other nation. This dude, because he controls the media, he could put out these narratives that it's not all about fighting. It's not all about, you know, subduing other nations. It's not all about killing and destroying and showing who got the biggest stick, right? It's not all about that. It's all about peace. It's all about, you know, deterring things from happening. And what they see, what do they see happening? They get all the technology. They see what's going on in outer space. They see the chariots of the Lord. They say preparing for war with China. But in their mind, they probably think all the technology that's going on and things that they see happening in you know, in space, that China might have something to do with it. Oh, fuck no. China ain't got nothing to do with what Yahweh Shah Shah is about to bring. And through y'all technology, y'all seen it. All right. I'm going to get another piece up right now, matter of fact. Let's go here. Let's go to Joel. Chapter 3. Oh, it's gonna pop up. Okay. Yeah. Joel chapter 3, I'm gonna start at verse 1. The head title for this chapter is "The Nations Will Be Judged." Right. This is the Lord's doing. They think that they doing something. They think that they, trying to determine how the world continues to run under the rulership of the current administration or the current rulers, right? But the Lord is creating a realm where they can't they don't trust one another. All right, they don't trust one another. They used to trust America, which was and the EU, which was the head of this current system that they've been running. But they don't trust what's going on right now. These decrees and everything that's being set up right now. And plus, the Lord has given them power. Nuclear, nuclear capability, in which, like this guy's talking about, this not just for war, it's for deterrence to try to stop a threat. Well, we'll see. All right. It says Joel chapter 1 verse 3. Slocky chapter Joel chapter 3 verse 1. That dyslexia bullshit. My bad, y'all. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, the southern and northern kingdom of Israel, you so-called Negros, Latinos, and Native American Indians. The Lord is calling out to you elect. Okay? The Lord is calling out to you elect to get right. Because this is the time He's going to bring us out of this captivity. Mentally, well, first starting spiritually. Spiritually, mentally, and then physically. In which He's going to give us those new bodies, which we're going to keep His laws, statutes, and commandments. We're no longer going to be disobedient. We're going to be like Yahweh Shai. We're going to be totally on one accord with our power, through our big brother. All right, verse 2, it says, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. I will plead with them there for my people, for you, Israel, and for my heritage, Israel, the land, right? Whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. There's so many scriptures that go into how, these heathen nations, and that's why they're over there fighting right now to this day. They parted the land of Israel. They parted that land amongst the so-called Jews, amongst the so-called Palestinians. They're not just Palestinians. They have biblical names. All these characters that have something to do with the name of Israel being no more in the land, they have biblical names. Go to Psalm chapter 83. It'll give you all the names of those that plotted against the children of Israel. Right? Let me go here to Zephaniah. No. Slovakia. Yeah. Let's go to Zephaniah chapter 3. Let's jump down to verse 6. Matter of fact, I'll start at verse. No, I'm going to go to verse 6. And it says, I have cut off the nations. Their towers are desolate. Yeah, because the Lord controlled all these things. The Lord let Esau rule for a certain amount of time. The Lord let all these nations have their rulership. How I say that in Revelations? They consented with the beast. Let me see. For a time. Let me see if I can find it. I don't want Ratazah. Help me find it. Please. Was it Daniel? Had power with the beast. Come. Revelation, I'm going to pick this one. Revelation chapter 17 and verse 12. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings. Yeah. What did the scripture say earlier? The heart of the kings is in the hand of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Right? And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. Yeah. It seemed like they, that they was all in, they was all, that conglomerate, right? But this is beautiful. I'm glad you brought this up, Yahweh Shem Shah, through the Spirit. Verse 13 says, these have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. This system, this current system, which they have. And now they all joining together for military practices. Because of what? They afraid. They have an inkling. What, like Slakia, not the elder, but the brother, the Akim. My beloved brothers, man. Like they be saying, what did the Lord, like they said tonight or last night, what did the Lord show these people? What did the Lord show our forefathers for them to have such faith to keep on going? The majority of the Akim and Aqua that's in this truth, regardless of their measurement of faith, the Lord reveals something to us. The Lord revealed things to us. The Lord revealed things to Esau Edom too, and that's why he's going as hard as he's going right now. He's ramping up, he's fast, he's under the agenda of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. At the end of the day, the Lord said he's gonna speed up time. It say verse 14, beautiful. Call Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Verse 14 say, these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is Lord of lords and kings of kings, and they that are with him are called the chosen and faithful. Ooh, we're gonna get it. Matter of fact, let me do this. I'm gonna go back to Zephaniah. Let me do this. Through the Spirit and power, how about you? We was at verse 6, and it says, I have cut off the nations, their towers are desolate. I made their streets waste. This is the Lord's doing, man. That none pass by. Their cities are destroyed, so that there is no man, that there is none inhabitant. I said, surely thou wilt fear me. Thou wilt receive instruction, so that their dwelling should not be cut off. Howsoever, I punished them, but they rose early and corrupted all their doings. Israel, man. The 2/3 of our people to this day, they still dwell on the same bullshit. Falling at them other heathen nations. Thinking they're in good hands, all state. Right? But let's get this in verse 8. It says, therefore, wait upon me. Therefore, wait upon me, saith the Lord Yahweh, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. And who's the Lord jealous over? He's jealous over his wife. He's jealous over his people Israel. With how they've been treated. Them going off, first and foremost, them going off wanting to be with other nations. They're lovers. So the Lord is about to, if you're not of the elect, if you're not taking Yahweh Shem Shah seriously, or if he's not taking you seriously, let's put it that way, right? Because he controls all things. I don't know what to tell you, man. We all individually are actually begging the Lord to just have mercy on us, right? Because those laws are not completely implanted inside of us. And we're still in the land of our captivity. And therefore we dwell every day, hoping and praying, hastening the day of Yahushua to return. Every day. Let me go back to that video.
With our other teammates, our allies, in a multi-nation operation / exercise. We do these exercises.
See, the Lord is bringing the nations together, as we just read in Zephaniah 3, verse 8, right? Again, he said, therefore, wait upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that they may that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy.
Routinely, not on this scale. And the reason why we do them is simply to bring all of these forces together so that we learn and we train and we operate just like we are if we go to war. It should be seen more as in my mind, right, I'm hopeful, as a precursor to peace, because when our adversaries see how easily we bring together all these nations, this many folks, and we operate in a extended exercise, they should see that we could quickly transmit that into combat. It should be seen more as in my mind, right, I'm hopeful, as a precursor to peace, because when our adversaries see how easily we bring together all these...
Who's your adversaries? Who's your true adversaries? Right, Esau? Who's your true adversaries? Those that you said that you're gonna have that you're gonna have that you're gonna hate perpetually. And one of those individuals, you know, Israel, you know, who you say you're gonna, you know, or Jacob, you know, the sons of Jacob, you know, or Jacob and his sons, you're gonna hate them perpetually. That means forever, right? You're gonna come up with these plots. You want to rule the world because you sold your birthright, because you gave up your blessing and you sold your birthright for some uncooked meat. You wasn't thinking about the long story, the long shot. You was just thinking about right here and now. That's why you create, or you use China, or however y'all come together with this shit, to create things like microwaves and instant meals and you know, everything has to be done quickly. But the Lord put that spirit in you, though, because the Lord wants your system to hurry up and be destroyed anyway. All right.
Nations, this many folks, and we operate in a extended exercise, they should see that we could quickly transmit that into combat if necessary.
Well, we see Norway, Netherlands, Thailand, Singapore, and India have...
My bad. They say adversaries. I kind of lost track. Adversaries going back to Yahushua, the children of Israel. Yahushua being the head of Israel from the tribe of Judah. That's your adversary. The thing is, that's not going to deter Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, from fulfilling prophecy. Let's go.
Join the exercise this year, especially India's participation. What statement does that make?
That's an interesting statement. You know, ideally, it's telling the world is that India is ready to become a worldwide player to support a free world. And so I think it's a good statement for them. I don't know personally what their level of participation is. And what I will throw out, you know, sometimes you'll have a nation that will put in, you know, of the 35,000, maybe they'll put in 5,000 or 1,000. Sometimes they'll put in a very few number of people. That is not to be looked down upon. That is a great thing, because just sending liaison individuals to support us is a great building block for future teamwork and obviously future support.
Bill, how strong is this military alliance? To what extent could the U.S. and Australia count on these nations to join in militarily in the event of war with China over, say, Taiwan?
We know our friends in the UK will be there wherever we go. I'm confident of that. What every nation, in my mind, will look at is what is required for their vital interest. There are some that will definitely come with us. I wouldn't put a guarantee that everybody would come. I would like to think they would, but you never know. We've done missions, if you will, where some of our great allies have not given us overflight. So we've had to fly around their countries because they don't want to be seen as supporting a mission, specifically in the Middle East, a mission of the U.S. against a Middle Eastern partner. So, ideally what this does, it strengthens our relationship when we're talking military to military personnel. Very often at our level, at the general officer level, at the colonel level, or at the staff NCO level, the team and the people we're working with would support each other to death, if you will. We could rely on them. But the country and the civilian leadership of their country is going to depend who's actually going to come to fight when the bullets start flying.
And half a
To the death, right? Let's get this. I want to go here to, let's go back to 1 Thessalonians, as a matter of fact. First Thessalonians chapter 4. And I was going over 16. When I was at 16, let's finish it. Oh, speaking about death, say those who died in Yahushua, right? Because what's about to happen is, the Lord is about to create warriors, spiritually glorified warriors, in the midst of everything that's going on. You hope for elect. You 144,000 men, 12,000 men from each of the 12 tribes of Israel. The Lord's looking. He's building you up. He's working for you. He's working with you to build you up. You have to continue to have faith and trust in what Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is doing, what He has said. We know that the things that we was brought up on, all these things have been to make us weak. But through this newfound, or through this faith, through this now faith, through this now faith that Yahweh Bashem Yahushua has given us and granted us, we know there's a fight. Some will die, but when you die in Yahushua, you never really die. We know what death is, and it's just a form of rest for the body. That's all. But the Lord's going to give us new bodies if we be a part of that elect number. Let's get it. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16 again. For the Lord Yahushua Himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of the Most High, and the dead in Yahushua HaMashiach shall rise first. Yeah, those that you don't take the mark, you don't take the MARK or the beast. You don't take the charagma. You don't take the you don't bow down to the system. They might try to get you these all type of shit, whatever. Yahushua already, when the time comes, we'll see what's what, who's who. Right now, the main thing the Lord is saying is don't take that charagma. That's what the Lord is saying right now. Don't take that charagma. Yeah, don't do your best to stay away from all other sins, but don't put these nations before me no more. Don't put these. The first commandment is have no other gods before me. That's like a husband telling his wife, hey, don't put no other niggas before me, no other men, no other motherfuckers, none of these people. Don't put them before me, period. And I got you. And that's the same thing the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is telling the elect. And as the Lord said, and is He not a poetic artist, which in His words coming true? He said He reserved to Himself 7,000 men that shall not bow the knee. Adon Ratazah, you with an S, us, we're part of that number, man. No matter what, even unto death, be faithful even unto death. Again, 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16, for the Lord Himself, Yahushua Himself, shall descend from heaven, our big brother, with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of Yahweh, and the dead in Yahweh Shai, the anointed shall rise first. Then we, which are alive and remain, shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord Yahweh Shai in the air. And so shall we ever be with the Lord. What he's going to do, man, he's going to change our minds, man. These vile corrupt bodies. Check this out, man. His elect will have to receive incorruptible bodies and be made perfect. Even to enter into the UFOs of the Lord, better known as chariots, to deal with that supernatural way of those spaceships, outmaneuvering the angels or the aircrafts of these heathen nations. Yeah, these aircrafts, these helicopters, these not space jets, but these jets and fighter jets and so on and so forth, bomber jets and everything like that. Those spaceships, those chariots of Yahweh Shema Shah is going to be maneuvering in ways that if we had these chains of darkness on, we'll be splattered all over them chariots. So the Lord got to give us new bodies if we be a part of that number. If you be a part of that number, you're going to receive that new body, that glorified body. Oh, 18, even beautiful. Wherefore, comfort one another with these words. These words of truth, the words of Yahweh Shema Shah. Taking what we see in the world and marrying it, revealing it through the scriptures. Because that's that part that's going to comfort us through all the things that's going on. Let's go here to 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 15. Let me jump down to 50. The mystery of resurrection, the regeneration, right? It says, verse 50. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 50. Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of the Most High, neither do corruption inherit incorruption. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. All right, that means that we not all gonna die. What the Lord say? Let me see if I can find it. He say, and I believe Yahweh Shai said this. I believe it. I'm sure it was Yahweh Shai that said this. There be some standing here that shall not taste. I wrote that backward. Taste. Yeah. Come. Matthew chapter, let me just get to the point. Matthew chapter 16 and verse 28. Verily I say unto you, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. All right? Coming in his kingdom. What's going to make up the kingdom? What's the temple of Yahweh Shema Shah? The elect. That's going to be beamed up in the chariots. Into incorruptible bodies. Do you see it? Back to 1 Corinthians chapter 15. Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of the Most High, neither do corruption inherit incorruption. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep. That means, what the world would call die or end up being dead. No, we're not all going to fall asleep and be at rest in heaven when Yahweh Shema shall come back. No, there's going to be some that's going to be here. Let's get it. It say, but we shall all be changed. Verse 52. In a moment, right, to deal with the spirit, the super spiritual aspects of glory or the promises of Yahweh Shema Shah. All right. We shall all be changed in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye. So for those that might say, all right, so the MOTB got to be implemented, the Jacob's Trouble got to go in effect, the missiles got to be shot over here and there. All that's going to happen. How? When? It's going to be so fast. Now, I as far as Jacob's Trouble, yeah, it's going to take some endurance to get through Jacob's Trouble. As a matter of fact, you could pretty much say that we're going through that exercise of endurance right now. You see all the people the Lord taking out, the Lord taking out Israelites left and right by the sword, the teeth of wild beasts, right? And you had the teeth of wild beasts. That was just something that Esau had to go through because his ass is dumb as fuck. He wants to sit up there and play with wild animals like it's okay. No, you know, Jacob's Trouble is about to, it's about to just escalate even more. You know, neighbors invading neighbors. How long have the children of Israel been going through that? That one. Because of poverty. So on and so forth. Now America is about the whole of America is about to really go through this thing called poverty and famine. Again, it's a verse 52. In a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, the last trump at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall rise incorruptible and shall be changed. So just like that, in the twinkling of an eye, when all these things are coming into pass, when the missiles get blasted off, right? When the Lord's the king, the heart of the king is in the hand of Yahweh Shemashah. When the Lord say, "Hey, push those buttons, push those buttons, push those buttons, push those buttons," and they push those buttons, that's it. In the same moment, the elect is going to be risen up and be given those new bodies. Right? In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put off incorruption, and this mortal must put off immortality. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal should have put on immortality, right? These chains of darkness. The Lord glorifying his temple. And this mortal shall put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law. Ooh, let's go there. Let's go there. Let's go to Isaiah. Right, where you at? Prophets. Isaiah chapter 42. Salaki for this being so long. Akim, you know, but Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. All right, let's start at verse 14. Isaiah 42, verse 14. I have long holden my peace. I have been still and refrained myself. Now will I cry like a travailing woman. Yeah, like we just read right earlier. You know, I will destroy and devour at once. I will make waste mountains and hills and dry up all their herbs. And I will make the rivers islands, and I will dry up the pools. Right? And I will bring the blind by a way that they knew not. I will lead them in paths that they have not known. I will make darkness light before them, and crooked things straight. These things will I do unto them, and forsake them not. It's talking about the children of Israel, starting with the elect. They shall be turned back. They shall be greatly ashamed. Who's this? Yeah, you know, this is going to the 2/3 and other heathen nations. They shall be greatly ashamed that trust in graven images, that say to the molten images, ye are our gods. What did I say earlier? The main offense against Yahweh Shema Shah, one of the main offenses against Yahweh Shema Shah, is having other gods before him. That was the number one. That's number one on in any commandment, whether Yahweh Shai said it or whether it's written by Moses. The first commandment is love Yahweh Shem Shai with all your heart, mind, body, and spirit. Don't have no other gods before me. Verse 18. Hear ye deaf and look ye blind that ye may see. Who is blind but my servant, or deaf as my messenger that I sent? Who is blind as he that is perfect, and blind as the Lord's servant? Seeing many things, but thou observest not, opening the ears, but he heareth not. The Lord is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He will magnify the law and make it honorable. Now, how's he going to do that? By putting it back into, let's get it. Let's go here to Jeremiah. Them new bodies. Jeremiah chapter 31. Let me jump down to verse 31. Those new bodies. Jeremiah 31, starting in verse 31. Behold, the days coming, say the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel. Is that yet? No, that ain't happened yet. We in the grace period. All right. That I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel, Yasharallah, and with the house of Judah, Yahweh, right? The northern and southern kingdom. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them, saith the Lord Yahweh. See, that's all capitals. Verse 33. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Yasharallah after those days, saith the Lord Yahweh. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their power, and they shall be my people. All right, so the Lord gonna put the laws in our inward parts. Now we were just reading in Isaiah, right? You know let me get it again over here. Isaiah 42 and verse 21. The Lord is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He will magnify the law and make it honorable. Okay? Through his elect. Starting with his elect. That's the beginning of the new world under Yahweh Shai. Okay? It's a verse 33 again. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with thee, with the house of Israel, after those days, saith the Lord Yasharallah. After those days, saith the Lord Yahweh. I will put my law in their inward parts, and write it in their hearts, and will be their power, their God, and they shall be my people. And they shall teach no more, every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith the Lord. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. And that's the kingdom. That's the kingdom. You know, after these guys get through bullshitting, right? While they having their wars and they having their fun, yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Ain't nothing else to say after that. I don't even want to see the rest of that, whatever they got to say. Whatever needs to be said, it has been said within 40-something minutes. I don't want to, you know. I hope this lesson again is edifying to the hopeful elect. I want to go over that Talisman Sabor. I want to know what that is. Let's go here. Talisman Sabor. Talisman. Let's get that. Let's see what that means. Talisman. A talisman is an object believed to possess magical properties. Look at this shit. Yep. This is their thing. Magical properties. Magical. Right? Often used for protection, healing, or to bring good luck. There ain't no such thing as good luck. All it is the will of Yahweh Shem Shai, whether you have his favor or not. Ain't no such thing as good luck. It can be a portable object like a pendant or ring, or a more permanent installation. Talismans are often imbued with religious or magical significance. So they're gonna use magic against you. How about you? Well, boy, y'all gonna make me pull out some more scriptures, man. Let me see. Why y'all wanna play? Why y'all wanna play Talisman? I hope that give me what I'm looking for. Yeah. Micah chapter 5. Is that it? No, that's not it. That's one too, Jeremiah. I'm gonna pull this one. That Micah. Micah chapter 5. Micah chapter 5. Yeah. I'm gonna start at verse 10. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start at verse 9. It says, Thine hand shall be lifted up upon thine adversaries, and all thine enemies shall be cut off. Yeah, the nation shall be cut off. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord, that I will cut off thy horses out of the midst of thee, and I will destroy thy chariots, all y'all power. And I will cut off the cities out of thy land, and throw down all thy strongholds. And I will cut off witchcrafts out of thine hand, and thou shalt have no more soothsayers. Thy graven images also will I cut off, and thy standing images out of the midst of thee, and thou shalt no more worship the work of thine hands. And I will pluck up thy groves out of the midst of thee, so will I destroy thy cities, and I will execute vengeance in anger and fury upon the heathen, such as they have not heard. Need I say more? For your talismans, your magical bullshit. Now let's go to Saber. What does Saber mean? Sabor. Saber. Saber, AI overview, is a Spanish and Portuguese word that translates to flavor, taste, or savor. In English, it can refer to the taste of food, a specific flavor, or even a more abstract sense of essence or quality. In some contexts, it's also used as a name or a brand. So, Talisman Sabor. All right, some magical quality, some magical essence. Well, the Lord just told you what He's going to do with your essence to you heathen nations that come up against Him. Man, if I had one more precept I did want to go into, I ain't gonna front. I did want to go into this. Let me see. Okay, I gotta pull it up here. 2nd Edges, chapter 13. 2nd Edges, chapter 13. All right. And that goes into 1 Corinthians, 1 Thessalonians, chapter 4. That goes into just the Lord, Joel, chapter 3. The Lord bringing all these nations together for what? To judge them. Let's go here, 2nd Edges, chapter 13. Starting in verse 1, it says, And it came to pass, after 7 days I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, All things trembled that were seen under him. Yeah, and that's also in Revelations, where it stated how when the Lord appeared on the scene, that all the nations were grieved, right? To a certain extent, all the nations were grieved when they saw him. That's how Yahweh Shah's coming back in fashion, man. He's coming back with his angels. Michael being one of the archangels. Something this world has never seen, man. And what better way to take over the world but to show us something it's never seen before? Verse 4. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth felleth when it filleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men. Matter of fact, I want to pull that back up. Let's go there. I'm going to pull that back up. Yeah. Let them talk their shit. I want to pull that back up and let them finish talking about what they was talking about.
Are you tired of feeling pain in your feet? Introducing our new line of orthopedic shoes designed to...
Remaining vigilant and...
And we as American citizens, military personnel, very often at our level, at the general officer level, at the colonel level, or at the staff NCO level, the team and the people we're working with would support each other to death, if you will. We could rely on them. But the country and the civilian leadership of their country is going to depend who's actually going to come to fight when the bullets start flying.
And half a world away in Istanbul, Iran is holding talks with the British, French, and Germans. They're still insisting they'll rebuild their nuclear facilities. How likely would you say it is that the U.S. and Israel may have to bomb them again? Are we looking at peace on the verge of breaking out in the Middle East, or is a regional war coming?
If Iran pursues a nuclear weapon, again, I fully expect additional strikes. Period. And we as American citizens should demand that of our president and our military. We should demand that. Not for Israel's sake, if you will, right? We should demand that for the protection of our families, our children, and the future generations of America. All Americans should demand and agree that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon because they promised to destroy Israel and the United States. So if that happens and they decide to do it again, I fully expect additional strikes. We, from everything I've seen, prevented regime change or helped prevent regime change because Israel, I think, had a plan for that. And President Trump, at least open source, has said that he wanted that not to happen. I agree with that. Regime change in a place like Iran could cause a humanitarian disaster for 40 million people. It could be terrible. And we're not ready, and we should not be ready or want to go in and fix that. Stability in the region, temporary at best.
Okay, Colonel William Dunn, thank you for sharing your insights today. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, you done. Let me close this out. Keep in mind, Yahweh Shah got y'all over there for a reason. Second, and got y'all looking into that area for a reason. Got y'all preparing your military exercises for a reason. And this is it. Second Ezra chapter 13, verse 5. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men, as we just read, right, in Joel, as we just read in Zephaniah chapter 3, Joel chapter 3, and as we read as Isaiah chapter 42. It say, and after this, Second Ezra chapter 13, verse 5, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the earth, from the four winds of the heavens, to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Now that sea is talking about the heavens, the sky. As we just kept on reading how Yahweh Shah gonna come from heaven. He gonna descend from heaven with a shout, right? And the heavens is like a sea. And you know how they say, you see those space movies, how they be moving all slow, going through space, in those space shuttles and everything like that. The same thing, the same way you move under the water, on Earth. all slow and things like that. That's what it's talking about. The sea is describing the heavens, right? The Lord's going to descend from the heaven with a shout of the archangel. Verse 6. But I beheld, and lo, he had graven himself a great mountain and flew upon it. And that mountain go back to them UFOs and chariots, right? Those spaceships, right? Verse 7. But I would have seen the region or place where out the hill was graven, and I could not. That's how big it's going to be. That's the fathership, right? And it says, and after this I beheld, which means I looked, and lo, and they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet did fight. Yeah, because when they see Yahushua, whoever they think they're getting prepared for, this is Yahushua's grand entrance. This is the heathen nation's final hurrah, the weakest hurrah known to man, the last great hope for I can't even say that humanity, because it's not humanity. You know, the great last hope for the heathens, period. Right? And after this, verse 8 again, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue Yahushua, subdue him, Yahushua, were so afraid, and yet durst fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But I only saw as he sent out his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. You know, this is coming out of the chariots. That devouring fire. Beautiful. Let's make it big for the last one. Second Ezra 13 and 11. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, and the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude, which was prepared to fight, which they being prepared to fight, right? They durst fight. They was afraid, so afraid, but they still say, hey, this is what we've been doing those military exercises for. All right. And burnt them up, every one, so that upon a sudden all of an innumerable multitude, all these nations that came together for this very moment, all of a sudden, upon a sudden of an innumerable, Salaki, I'm excited, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. And when I saw this, I was afraid. Yeah, that's it. Isn't not going to be nothing left but dust and the smell of smoke. And that smell of smoke it lingers for a while. You know, dust, all those bodies, all those angels of Esau, Edom, them fighter jets, them helicopters, them bombers, you know, it's all going to be turned to just dust. What you see on these X-Men movies and everything like that, that's what's going to be so spooky and so beautiful about this thing at the same time, man. What the Lord had put on Esau, Edom, you know, with these movies and everything, to come to, you know, to come to life for you to see it before your very eyes. Ah, man, I wish my mom was alive just to see it, man. 'Cause my mama loved them superhero movies and shit, man. She was always into comics, man. She had me into comics. Some of the reason why I like to draw type shit. But anyway, Lord willing, if she's at elect, she's gonna be there. She'll see it. But hopefully, I'm gonna leave off on that. I hope this lesson is edifying to the elect. You know, as always, I like to say, endure. Yahweh Shabbat, endure. Let's give our praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bashim, Yahweh Shah, Bashim, Rechak, Dash. Double honor to elders and apostles, great millstone. All right. Till next time, Kwanya Sarala. Wa Abba Baba.